Now comes the real part of why you're here. Joe asked me to build him a better microphone. He said, hey, my ham radio microphone is better than my Shure. I said, oh, come on, Joe. We're sitting in his kitchen. He said, no, you come on. Come here. So he takes me downstairs and his little studio, and he plugs in his beta. This is a big-time beta. Hello. And I'm going, oh, okay, what's wrong with that? He said, well, listen to it. I said, yeah, it's okay. No, it's not. I said, what do you mean, no, it's not? You know, Joe is incredible. I mean, his ears are incredible. He said, it doesn't have any articulation. And man, what happened to this? I thought it was supposed to have some kind of pattern. It does. You got to be right here. And if we move off a half an inch, it changes tone. I don't want that. My ham radio mic doesn't do that. I said, well, it's not supposed to. Well, make it that it didn't. So do something. So I did. And you see, I don't play games here with you guys. I could have a little mixer up here or two cables, but then I get guys say, oh yeah, he's playing games. No, he's not. This microphone is so much more articulate. It's got such a better frequency response. But here's the big part. You can move around on it. And you can go the full distance and it works beautiful. It doesn't change tone. And that is an important part in what we're trying to do. But then you get in the rear, nothing. 40 down. How did you do that? Well, I did that because I told you a while ago, you're going to remember that antenna. That antenna had so much to do with all of us. Because we finally got to bring to the industry something that the big boys haven't done. Why haven't you done? You're the engineers. Why haven't you figured this out? They don't care. Here's two microphones that are absolutely identical. Another thing we're going to learn here is 3dB. I have a 5,000 watt PA and it's not loud enough, so I'm going to go out and buy 5 more. I'm going to get 10,000 watt. How much did that going to come up? What? 3 dB? You got it. How loud is 3 dB? You know, we all forget this. When I bring this mic up, it's going to be 3 dB louder. Yes, it is. I'm not playing a magic act here. This is science. It's going to make you think when you go away. How important are things? 3 dB is not very much. The human can hardly hear 3 dB. That was just a little side note while I had it hooked up for you. Now comes the good part. This is a plug it's wired out of phase. Still works fine, still sounds the same. Now comes the real reason for my existence in this business and a lot of other things I did. Because when you take two signals out of phase, nothing. Oh, they still work. Nothing. So, Joe says, hey, do something. Make me a microphone. And I got tremendous front pattern, tremendous frequency response. And I did that because the diaphragm is 1.5 inches. It's huge. But I have all of this side stuff. Well, what's that about? What that's about? There's a tube in here, a little mounting tube about 1 inch in diameter that the capsule sits on top of. And it collects all of the stuff from the rear and the sides. Everybody else got 4 little bitty holes up here. That's not enough. I want 40 dB a rear. Nothing. Nothing. And he'd be, oh, I have a cardioid. I have a I don't want a cardioid, stupid. It's got a spike on the back. What in the world do we want that for? Why are you allowing them to let you do that? Because nobody's talking to them and they ain't listening. Well, I did listen. I do listen. And I said, whoa, Joe, I didn't know this was going on. And so I did something about it. Everyone, though, that does the same thing. This is the great PR40. Thousands of broadcasters have tossed their RE20. A wonderful pattern. It doesn't change. If you close your eyes, you didn't know I was moving so rapidly and so far, and it didn't change tone, but not a little bit. We're even working with the lab to try to get our own pattern. Think about that. You're going to have a coidioid, a supracoidioid, and a Heil pattern. And I'm serious about this because we don't have anything out the back. Everybody else does. And they're proud of it. We are not. I don't want anything out the back. We carry it through all of our microphones. Talk about listen. Bob Workman, who is Charlie Daniels' sound engineer, called me last summer. He said, "Hey, what's in the bottom of a BR30? I said, "Nothing." He said, "Well, I don't want to offend you, but I just cut it in half. I don't want to make you mad." And all this, he was kind of apologizing. I said, "Whoa, does it work?" He said, "It works great." PR31 BW, Bob Workman. It's an amazing microphone. We're doing the Max Weinberg band right now, 19-piece big band. Almost all the microphones are this. Yeah, it's going to pop a lot because it gets down to like 40 cycles when I'm talking in it. Don't have a windscreen handy, but you could, but that's not what it's for. It's incredible. Underhead cymbals. You don't need them over anymore. Get rid of all that nonsense. And for darn sure I don't want a condenser. Why? Because they pick up everything in the room. But they sound like this. They do exactly what this does sound-wise. Why do I want a condenser? Ego? Probably. Well, I don't care about that. I care about performance. And it bugs me. I built it as a joke for Joe. Guess who the joke's on? Me. Listen to that little guy. It sounds better than the beta. What's going on here? If we had more time, I could go through so much stuff today to show you what's going on with technology, and it's all because we listen and we do something about it. This has probably become our better microphone for vocalists that we've ever done, the PR35. And then one day, Paul Rogers, I gave him a PR22 in a rehearsal. That is the PR22, you heard it first. And he said, "Hey, this thing is great." He said, "Can you build that for me on a wireless?" Because he was using one of these things. He said, "This doesn't sound very good compared to that." I said, "Yeah." So what I did, and here's your wonderful SM58, and you better be right here. You better be right there. Don't move off. We're going to fix that. So I did. This guy. All you got to do, it's not a magic hack. And watch what happens. You finally have a wireless that sounds alive. And it's got 40 dB reader. Holy smokes, just by changing the microphone. It all starts with the microphone. And Stevie Wonder's been using our PR35 for several years. He recorded his latest DVD. If you haven't seen it, you should get it. It's incredible. The whole thing was done with our microphones. So, big guy, 1.5 inches. Now you want to talk about a wireless or what? This is an amazing sound. Carrie Underwood, Keith Urban, Charlie, on and on and on and on and on. Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, the list is long. Why are they using them? You just heard. And it's amazing, amazing sound when you listen to all of this stuff that we're doing today, bringing you new technology. And yet there's a few hardheads that still want to sit around and sound like this. That's like, this isn't fair. This isn't fair to the artist when they could be doing this just by changing the microphone element. And that's all we're doing.